Hi students, I thought it'd be easier just to go through this audit with a video so I could explain a few things out for you. So let's go ahead and start with case number one. So what I'm going to do, let's just kind of look here. Problem lower GI bleed, that's problem number one. Right here, secondary to radiation therapy, they did a procto. Um, biopsy was negative. So anyway, then we get into problem number two. We have endometrial carcinoma status post radiation therapy, status post resection, no therapy now. So we, again, the cancer's gone for the endometrium. Anemia, secondary to, right here's a key word here, lower GI bleed. 4, we have type 2 diabetes. Okay, we have hypertension. We have increased creatinine in the BUN. Okay, so principal diagnosis. What we need to audit here, right here, is K92.1. Okay, so with this, let's go ahead and pull up the code book. With the code book here we go. So actually, our principal diagnosis should be K92.2. Okay, so the difference here. Okay, here is just a plain old, we need to go with the hemorrhage. We need to go with GI hemorrhage. So my principal diagnosis here needs to be the K92.2. Okay, so the other thing that we need to address is the radiation colitis. And I did I kind of went through everybody's first before I did this video, and then I'll go back and put grades in. But with this, as you can see, we look here, radiation colitis. So we need two codes here. We have our principal diagnosis and then we need our second diagnosis. So that will be number 2. And that code's going to be K52.0. Okay. The next code that we do need is the anemia that I did mention. Okay. And again, this needs to be iron deficiency due to blood loss. Right. Everybody did good with the diabetes code, which was E11.9. We do need the I-10 for hypertension. And the next one here, I was kind of lenient on. It's F17.210. I accepted 200. And then we're going to have the Z code, which is history of uterine endometrial carcinoma. Okay. So with this, okay, so what are we going to query? We do have a procedure. We have that transfusion, the blood transfusion. The thing is with this, my biggest thing with a blood transfusion is, in my years of coding, is what vein. And I have how many sister-in-laws that are nurses and deal with this all the time. So if you look here, that's the central vein. They say a lot of times it is usually the peripheral vein, but we don't know. Okay, we don't have any documentation. So we are going to have to query the physician on that one. Okay, so that's going to wrap up case number 1. Let's go ahead and go to case number 2. This is Maxwell Green. Hey, we're going to start off here with the right orbital floor fracture. Okay, so with that one, everybody should, and this one looked pretty good here. It's going to be the S02.31XA. Okay, S0231XA, initial encounter. Okay, and actually, like I said, everyone did really well. The next one is going to be zygomatic fracture, which is S0240EA. Again, everybody did fairly well on this one too. Go ahead and type it in, and you can listen to this video over and over. Okay, and then this one here will be the A. Okay, and then I went with the assault by striking blunt thrown object which is going to be our activity code. If you had more than one activity code, that's fine. But I am looking for Y00.XXA. All right, so then we have two procedures here. And everybody did good. A lot of you got the one procedure, but let's go ahead and just type these out real quick. So the first procedure is going to be 0 and 0NS. Okay, so again, as you can see here, we have our reposition for our root. And with this one, we are going to go with P. Let's go ahead and go down. We have the orbit right. Okay. Open, because it says right in the documentation, open. We have an internal fixation with the implant. And then Z. So that's going to be my principal procedure. Okay, then our additional procedure is going to be the open reduction. Again, our root's going to be the reposition. Okay, so looking down here, we are going to go to P orbit. Oh, I'm sorry, I need to back one up here. 0, I was doing the first one. SM. Okay, so we have it on the right. And then we have, which I think documentation was saying on the left, 0ZZ. So those are the two procedures. There really isn't anything on that one to go ahead and query the physician on. Everything is pretty cut and dry. Okay, let's go to the very last one then. So with this patient here, I could say everybody pretty much did have pneumonia. Okay, what pneumonia code did you have? I am looking for J18.9. Oh, gotta type here tonight. J18.9. Okay, so we have pneumonia here. See if I can scoot this up here a little bit. Of unspecified organism. We know it's bacterial. Okay. Some of you coded the lobar. Okay, make sure you go through your rules on that because that can get a little tricky on when to code that and when not to code it. Okay, basically we really need to go just with unspecified organism here. We are going with the generic pneumonia. Okay, so another code a lot of you had, which was good, is the dehydration. Okay, and the reason we can code this is because they were given IV fluids. Okay, so that's a go. A lot of you had the quadriplegia, which is G82. G82.50. Okay. We will go ahead and move to the N31.2. Everyone did a good job on this one. The bladder. And you also have, we are going to keep the hypokalemia, which a lot of you coded that one too, so you did well. Okay. And our last code here is going to be with, again, the nicotine with the cigarettes. So we are going to go with F17.210. Nicotine dependent cigarettes uncomplicated. Okay, so with that one, you know, I had a couple of you say medical necessity 14 days, but they actually did hit it, you know, with the fever and all that. So I would say the medical necessity is there, especially when you're dealing with pneumonia and antibiotics. A lot of you put no, we don't need to query. So I'm just trying to think of other issues. I know a lot of you had some extra Z codes. Really watch that. You don't always need those Z codes, especially if it's not really pertaining to the submission or to the treatment. I think that is about it. If anybody has any questions, please send me, an inbox message. I'd be happy to, go over any questions with you. So hopefully you have a good rest of the semester and stay safe.